Disney World versus Epic Universe. Which one should your family choose? Hey y'all, welcome back to the Adventurous Log. Okay, buckle up, because this one's a big one. We just did something a lot of families spend years dreaming about. We hit Disney World and Epic Universe on the exact same trip. And I'll be honest with you, I went into this vacation thinking I already knew the answer. I mean, it's Disney. I figured it wouldn't even be a contest. Well, I think I was wrong. So today, we're putting them head to head, 6 rounds. Rides, theming, food, family value, how they stack up if you're traveling with little ones. And finally, the one nobody ever puts in their highlight reel, the gut check. You know the feeling. You're walking back to the car at the end of the day, your feet are screaming, your wallet's a little lighter, everybody's wiped out, and you still think, man, that was worth it. That's the round that matters most to me. So if you're trying to figure out where your family should spend those hard-earned vacation dollars, stick around, because by the end of this, the decision's gonna be a whole lot easier. All right, round 1. The rides. Let's be honest, the rides are why we're all here. And y'all, walking into Epic Universe for the first time, I was not ready. I thought I was. I'd watched the videos, seen the pictures, told myself, okay, this'll be cool. It wasn't just cool. It was one of those places where you walk in and physically stop because your brain can't process everything at once. When we got home and looked at our footage, I had to laugh. Half my shots are all over the place. I'd start filming one thing, then catch something else, then something else. My husband was probably thinking, would you please just point the camera in one direction? But then we walked through that portal into the Isle of Berk, and I put the camera down for a second and watched my family instead. My husband already trying to capture every angle. My oldest quietly catching details the rest of us missed. My daughter with that big smile that says, this is going to be so much fun. And my 15-year-old basically already sprinting to the first ride. Those moments, not the rides, not the buildings, but watching the people I love light up, those are my favorite memories from the whole trip. Now, here's what Disney still does that I don't think anybody else has cracked. Disney doesn't just build rides, they tell stories. Every time I ride Pirates or Haunted Mansion or Rise of the Resistance, I'm not just on an attraction. I'm remembering riding it years ago. I can still see myself as a little girl walking into Disney World for the very first time. That's magic. Disney has built over generations. Those rides become part of your family's story, and that is really hard to compete with. So, who takes round 1? If we're talking pure how in the world did they build this? Epic Universe wins, no question. But if we're talking storytelling, nostalgia, rides that stay with you long after you're home, Disney wears that crown. Honestly, your family wins either way. And somewhere out there, every other theme park is looking at these two thinking, well, that's a tough act to follow. All right, theming. And I've got to admit, this round surprised me more than any other. Going in, I thought, Disney's got this one in the bag. They've been building immersive worlds since 1955. Surely nobody touches Disney on atmosphere. Well, Epic Universe had other plans. The first thing I noticed is that when you walk through one of those portals, it doesn't feel like you're stepping into another section of a theme park. It feels like you've actually gone somewhere else. Wizarding World, Isle of Berk, Dark Universe, Super Nintendo World, every single land has its own personality. The music changes, the sounds change, the smells change. Even the tiny details on the buildings are telling you a story. And here's my advice. Do not rush. I know everybody wants to sprint to the rides, I get it, but slow down for a few minutes and just look around. We kept spotting things we completely missed the first time through. You can tell the designers had way too much fun hiding details everywhere. Now, don't get me wrong, Disney is not sitting in the corner going, well, we tried. Not even close. Galaxy's Edge is still one of the most incredible places I've ever walked into. The first time you round that corner and see the Millennium Falcon just sitting there, I don't care how old you are, you stop. As a huge Star Wars fan, I could spend half a day just wandering Blackspire Outpost. It really does feel like you left Earth and landed on another planet. But okay, here's where some of my Disney friends might start typing that angry comment. I think Epic Universe feels just a little more alive. Disney's lands are beautiful, but every now and then, they can feel a bit like you're walking through an incredible movie set. Epic feels like the people who live there just stepped out for lunch and they'll be right back. Everything feels busy, lived in, like it's actually happening around you. So who wins round 2? Honestly, nobody. This one's a tie. Disney still builds some of the most iconic themed places on Earth, and Epic Universe came out swinging and proved it belongs in that conversation. And can we just appreciate that theme park fans now have 2 places this incredible to explore? That's a win for all of us. Okay, can we talk about the food for a minute? Because I'll admit it, a lot of us plan a trip thinking theme park food is just theme park food. You eat, you spend way more than you meant to, and then you wonder why a bottle of water suddenly costs about as much as your first car payment. Okay, maybe not quite, but you know what I mean. You don't expect the food to be a highlight of the trip, and if that's what you think, you're wrong. One thing Epic Universe does really well is make the food part of the adventure. You're not just grabbing lunch, you're eating inside the story. We had lunch at Toadstool Cafe in Super Nintendo World, and first of all, that place is just plain fun. Everywhere you look, something's happening. And the burgers? Really, really good. Then we hit Spitfire Grill over in Isle of Burke, and that was another winner. If you like grilled food, put it on your list. One little warning though, if you think you're popping in for a quick bite, bless your heart, those lines get long. Build in some extra time because just getting inside can take a while. Now, switching over to Disney, let's be honest, Disney's been winning people over with food for a long, long time. We've been going for years, and I could make a whole series just on our favorite places to eat. Some have changed over the years, some are even better now. But there are a few we go back to every single trip. One of those is Liberty Tree Tavern in Magic Kingdom. Y'all, I don't know what they put in that salad, but if they bottled the dressing, we'd buy it by the gallon. No joke. The whole meal is delicious, and since it's all you can eat, let's just say nobody leaves hungry. But honestly, the thing I remember most wasn't even the food. It was our waiter, Ed. He was one of those people who just makes the whole experience better. You know those cast members you're still talking about years later? That was Ed. In fact, he reminded me of another Disney waiter we've never forgotten, Dallas over at the Hoop-Dee-Doo Review at Fort Wilderness years ago. To this day, I still say he was one of the best waiters I've ever had anywhere, not just at Disney. That's what Disney does so well. Sometimes the people become just as memorable as the attractions. Another family favorite is Via Napoli over in Italy at Epcot. If you've never eaten there, bring your appetite. When they carry out that giant pizza, it's about 2 feet long, everybody at the table suddenly starts doing math, trying to figure out if we ordered enough or enough to feed the entire country of Italy. Everything we've had there has been delicious. The only downside, it gets loud, really loud. So if you want a quiet, relaxing dinner, this isn't your spot, but for a great pizza, pasta, and a fun family meal, it's hard to beat. So, who takes round 3? I've got to give this one to Disney. Not because Epic isn't good, it absolutely is, and honestly, Epic surprised me here more than almost anywhere. But Disney's had decades to build an incredible food scene, and there's just so much variety across 4 parks and all those resorts. That said, Universal is catching up, and a whole lot faster than I expected. So Disney keeps the crown. But Epic Universe is making it earn it. And trust me, The next 3 rounds are where things really start to get interesting. All right, time to talk about the part nobody likes. Not roller coasters, not giant turkey legs, the money. Because let's be honest, these vacations are not cheap. If you're like us, you work hard for your vacation dollars, so you want to know you're spending them wisely. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you one park is cheap, because neither one really is. If anybody figures out how to do Disney on gas station snack money, please let us know. But they do spend your money a little differently. With Disney, it's layered, park tickets, then maybe Lightning Lane, then dining reservations, then the hotel, and then somebody spots a popcorn bucket they absolutely have to have. And before you know it, you're standing there going, wait, how did we get here? Disney takes a little strategy. Okay, a lot of strategy. I love planning a Disney trip, but I won't lie, it can feel like a part-time job, and I'll say it. I still miss the old FastPass system. Anybody else? Those really were the good old days. Epic Universe feels a little more straightforward. What you see is pretty much what you get. A lot fewer of those wait. That costs extra too. Moments. If you're planning your first big theme park trip with a budget in mind, you're going to appreciate how simple it feels. But, and this is a big but, Disney still has one huge advantage. It's not just the parks, it's the whole vacation. When you stay at a Disney resort, it feels like the trip starts the second you pull onto property. The music, the transportation, the resorts, the restaurants. Even riding the monorail feels like part of the experience. I don't know about y'all, but pulling into the Contemporary and watching that monorail glide right through the middle of the building, I still smile every single time. Epic has gorgeous hotels too, and they're doing a fantastic job. But those monorail resorts are really hard to beat when it comes to getting around. Disney's had more than 50 years to perfect that bubble where you get to leave the real world behind for a few days, and they're still the best in the business at it. So who takes round 4? If you want the easiest vacation to budget, I'm giving this one to Epic Universe. But if you want that complete vacation feeling where even the trip back to your hotel feels a little magical, Disney still wins. And here's the good news. Neither answer is wrong. It really comes down to the kind of vacation your family wants. Now, before we get to that gut check, there's one more round we've got to talk about. And for a lot of you, this might be the most important one yet. Because I already know what some of you are thinking. Girl, this all sounds great, but I've got a 4-year-old. And trust me, that changes everything. Here's what jumped out at us walking through both parks. Disney wasn't just built for little kids. It was built around them. Characters, gentle rides, play areas, magical little moments that don't require your child to be 48 inches tall to matter. And y'all, watching a little one experience Disney for the first time never gets old. First trip or your 15th, seeing a kiddo hug Mickey or wave at Cinderella gets me every single time. Now, Epic Universe is a little different. And I don't mean that as a knock. I just want you walking in with clear eyes. A lot of those headliner rides have height requirements. So, with younger kids, there are going to be a few moments where somebody gets to ride. And somebody gets to hold the backpack. That's just the reality. And we saw it happen. The families who planned for it, smooth sailing, the ones who didn't. Well, you could see a few disappointed little faces. And nobody wants that. But here's what surprised me. Even when the little ones couldn't ride everything, they were completely mesmerized. Picture Super Nintendo World, or Isle of Berk, or the Wizarding World through the eyes of a 4-year-old. They don't know it's a theme park. They think they've stepped right into the movie. And honestly, that's its own kind of magic. So here's my take. Kiddos under 6. I'm saying Disney first, no hesitation. Nobody makes a little one feel like the most important person in the park the way Disney does. But once they're 7 or 8, tall enough for the big stuff, Epic Universe becomes a whole different conversation. And if you've got teenagers, good luck ever getting them to leave. Got a mix of ages like we always did? Build your Disney days around those character moments, then turn the big kids loose at Epic. Best of both worlds. And one little Gen X tip from this mama: don't try to do everything. When we were kids, our folks handed us a paper map, and somehow we all survived without checking wait times every 5 minutes. Your kids are not going to remember one more ride. They're going to remember laughing with you. That's the stuff that lasts. So round 5, Disney takes it for the little ones. Epic gets stronger the older they get. And if you've got a mix of ages, a little planning gets you the best of both. And now, round 6, the gut check. This is the one you can't score on a spreadsheet. You can't measure it in ride counts or wait times or how many attractions each park has. It's just a feeling. And honestly, this is the round that completely changed my mind. Because if I'm being straight with you, before we ever packed a suitcase, before my husband finished his color-coded planning spreadsheets, and I mean it, the man could organize a NASA launch. I already knew my answer. Disney, case closed. I've been going for years. I grew up there. My kids grew up there. Some of our best family memories live there. In my mind, it wasn't even a competition. But then we walked through that portal into the Isle of Berk, and instead of looking at the dragons or the buildings or hunting for our next ride, I looked at my family. My husband had that look he gets when he's soaking in every little detail. My oldest was spotting things the rest of us hadn't even noticed. My daughter had that huge smile, and my 15-year-old looked like a kid who'd just been handed the keys. For just a second, nobody was thinking about work. Nobody was checking email. Nobody cared what time it was. We were just there, together, and I remember thinking, I wasn't expecting to feel this. That's when it hit me. Epic Universe isn't trying to replace Disney. It's not trying to copy it. It's telling a completely different story. Disney is comfort. It's tradition. It's hearing that music on Main Street and feeling like you've come home, watching your kids fall in love with something you fell in love with years ago. Epic Universe is that feeling of discovering something brand new. Walking around every corner going, "Whoa, did you see that?" One isn't better than the other. They're just different. And honestly, that's a pretty great problem to have. So, here's my advice. If you've never been to Disney, go. Seriously, go. There's a reason families have made that Disney pilgrimage for generations. There's nothing quite like watching your child meet Mickey for the first time or hearing that little gasp when Cinderella Castle comes into view. Some moments really do live up to the hype. But if you've been to Disney a few times, celebrated the birthdays, the anniversaries, watched your kids grow up making those same memories, and you're starting to wonder what else is out there, Epic Universe might be exactly what you're looking for. It gave our family that feeling we hadn't had in a long time, discovering something new together. And if you're lucky enough to do both, do both. Because here's what I realized on the drive home. Months from now, we won't remember every single ride. We'll forget what we had for lunch one day. We'll definitely forget what we spent. But we'll remember laughing together. We'll remember the inside jokes. We'll remember watching each other experience something new. That's what family vacations are really about. The parks are amazing. The rides are incredible. But the best part has always been the people you share them with. So, that's our honest take. No sponsorships, no hype. Just one Louisiana family sharing what we experienced, hoping it helps your family plan an unforgettable trip. Now, I want to hear from you. Are you Team Disney or Team Epic? Or are you like us, already trying to figure out how to do both? Tell me down in the comments. I read every single one, and I love hearing your stories. And if you're into honest reviews, practical tips, hidden details, and a few laughs along the way, we'd love for you to join our little adventure-loving community. Go ahead and hit subscribe, because we've got a lot more coming, including our full Epic Universe ride rankings, Disney planning tips, hidden gems, and plenty more adventures. Until next time, life moves pretty fast. Take the trip, eat the dessert, ride that ride one more time, because these are the moments your family will be talking about for years. Remember, the best souvenir you'll ever bring home is a memory. Thanks for coming along with our family. Remember, the magic is always under construction. Catch you on the next ride.